Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. And it's been good to see you all. And I just pulled another Team Skeptic move. I had my mic muted. Yes, I'm an idiot. But anyway, thank you, King Crew, Facty, Bacon Earth. Thank you all so much for joining. I really, really do appreciate it. And yeah, stressed out a little bit. Something went wrong for my side, and I'm so sorry. But I'm here now, and I thank you all for joining. And everybody that's not in the chat that is watching, thank you also so much for joining. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. Now, joining me today, I have a very good friend of mine. Punchy, how are you doing?
Sorry, I just had to hit the unmute before I started talking there. I'm doing well. I don't sugarcoat it. We're best friends. We're besties.
Oh my goodness, it's crazy. I started talking, I had this whole big intro, and it was amazing. And then I saw I had the mute button on. I was like, oh, Roxy, for fuck's sake, is this going to happen every time we stream? Every time we stream, that's going to happen because, this is what we do on YouTube. If we speak with our mute button on,
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like you said, you had this big, fantastic intro to come in with. Then you realize you're muted, and you're like, shoot. Then you come on, you're like, hey, guys. Well.
It happened. I mean, you heard the whole intro, didn't you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, didn't you?
No.
Oh, my word. Oh, yes, because you were on mute as well, so you didn't hear any. Oh, if I was on mute, you were on mute, we wouldn't hear each other anyway, because you wouldn't have been able to tell me that I was muted. But it's all good.
Could you imagine like an hour and a half of that? Roxy, you're muted. And you're like, Punchy, you're muted. We're just there yelling at each other.
I'm sure someone in the stream would have told us that something wasn't right.
I wouldn't have. I would have sat there and been like, I'm just going to let this keep on going.
We're such assholes. But anyway, 9:00 here. Thank you so much for joining us, as well as you, Clive Wells. This is great. I'm so glad to see you guys in the side chat. And I hope you guys have a good show. This is going to be a good show. Like I said, Punchy and I have been friends for a while now. And it's great to have him on my show eventually or finally.
Yes.
So as a lot of you know how this works now by now, but if you're new to the chat or if you're new to the show, I have 4 questions per show. These questions were done last year already, and so I don't remember them. My memory is quite bad, so I have to write everything down, and I should have wrote on my screen, remember to unmute. I wouldn't have made that mistake. But anywho, we're here now. So these 4 questions are philosophical questions, and like I said, I did them last year around June-ish sometime. So I really don't remember what questions I have written down or I have ready for us tonight. So my question, or my answers, as well as Punchy's answers, will be raw, will be from the heart, from the mind kind of thing. So yes. So what we'll do is we'll discuss one question at a time. We'll go through each question. We'll go through, and discuss them. And then at the end of each question, we'll go to the chat and ask the chat if they've got any questions or any statements about what was said. I don't mind any fun in the chat. Please know that I don't mind having you guys having fun in the chat. This is as serious as these topics can get. I still want you guys to have fun. So I would like you to remember that all fun and games in the chat is fine with me. But when it comes to questions towards, myself and Punchy or any other guest that I have, we'll try and keep it to as much of the topic as possible. It's just to keep it, within topic. So within reason, questions could be answered, but try and keep it to the topic. And I'm going around in circles again.
And don't be afraid to be mean to me. I enjoy it.
Yes, like I say, if you guys want to, have fun in the chat, have fun in the chat. By all means, I want you guys to enjoy yourself while you're here. I don't want it to be military. I don't want it to be strict. I don't want it to be no fun. I just want it to be, a fun stream for you guys to come and relax and chill and express how you feel about certain topics or certain questions that I have. So
okay, Bacon Earth, that was uncalled for.
That is uncalled for. There's no such thing as a fake Canadian.
No, that's not true. They're called Minnesotans.
Is that what it's called? Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's a new one. So I also like everybody to remember that there are no wrong or right answers to each of these questions. There are our opinions. If you disagree with what we say, that is fine. That is your opinion. But you cannot tell someone that they're wrong about their own opinion. If it's based on facts, then I understand. But if it's got to do with our own opinion, you cannot tell someone that they're wrong about their own opinion. It's not how things work. If there is someone in the chat that does continue to show that kind of rudeness, one of my mods will definitely time you out, because I will not tolerate that kind of behavior in my chats. I do not tolerate rudeness. I do not tolerate trolling to an extent where it's uncalled for, and I do not tolerate people just being mean and horrible to each other. I don't want that in. Yes, Bacon, you can leave now.
Oh, Bacon, you're the only mod. You have to stick around in case anyone else starts talking stuff.
At the moment, you're the only mod, Bacon, so you have to. All my mods, it's fine. That's why I have a few. I have a few too many for the chat, but it's because of the reason like this, where one or two may not be able to make it, so there is one here or two here that are able to help out. So yes, so again, no right or wrong answers, and then, like I say, at the end of every question, when myself and Punchy have spoken enough about that topic, we'll hand over the question to the chat, and if you guys have any opinions, have any questions, bring them on. We've got you. So Punchy, how are you doing? And all that jazz. I know you've already answered this question, but let's get back into it.
Let's get more in depth. Well, you see, I'm doing well. It's a mild -5 outside, which is really nice. It's cloudy and all that, but it's surprisingly warm, so I can't complain. I think I got all the yawning out of my system, so that's good. Because before we started here, Roxy and I were both exchanging yawns back and forth. I'm like, oh god, we're not gonna be yawning the whole show, are we? Other than that, though, yeah, I'm doing well. Like, voice is back, as you can hear. I'm back at work now, finally, which sucks, but I'm getting out of the house at least, so.
That's good. That is really good. It's not nice to be stuck in your house.
Well, and the thing is, like, if you're stuck in your house and places are open, that's one thing. But when everything's closed and legally you can't even go to your friend's house and your friends can't come to your house, it's like, yeah, it gets kind of boring after a while.
You mean the hoose?
The hoose, yes. Oh, and I got moose in front of my hoose, and there's some goose. And they're all loose. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness. Demon Orb, thank you so much for joining. I really do appreciate it. Now, I know that Team Skeptic is also streaming. I'll have a few words with him. He knows what time I stream, but maybe he's got a memory like a sieve, like I do. So maybe he did forget. But I will exchange a few words with him.
I don't see that he's streaming. It just looks like he released a video.
Oh, is it just a video?
Just a 57-second video.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'll still have a few words with him because he's taking some of my people away.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking, guys. I'm joking. I'm really just joking. Historical philosopher, thank you also so much for joining. I do appreciate it. Right. Shall we get into this?
We shall.
So let me just get this all up and going. And here we go. Question 1. Let's see what we have. And I've just hidden everything. That helps a lot. Anyway, even Roxy. Foxy, it's a short.
Yeah.
Even okay, Roxy even. I don't. What are you talking about?
Because he said Foxy, it's a short, and then he said Roxy even because I guess his phone, the auto corrected it to Foxy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, what you could have done was put Foxy Roxy.
Oh, that's been my nickname for ages.
Exactly. So we're all used to it.
All right, let's get going. Okay, so the first question is, how replaceable are you?
I mean,
That's quite a question.
the joke answer is very. The real answer is, I mean, if you look at it from a family standpoint, I'm not replaceable. If you look at it from, the atoms that make up my body, I'm very replaceable. If you look at my brain, I'm not replaceable. If you look at did I say my job already? Then I'm half replaceable. I don't know. I mean, it's one of those questions kind of tough to really get into too much because I never really considered it before, but.
Well, I mean, as you say, with your family, you're irreplaceable. With friends, the friends that you know are your friends, you're also irreplaceable. When it comes to your job, when it comes to everyday other life, you're irreplaceable with family and friends. I beg your pardon. Did I say that right? Then when it comes to everything else in life, replacing you is easy. I did read somewhere that every 7 years your body has completely new cells. So the person that you were 7 years ago is different to the person you are now in terms of cells, which I think is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
we do have a resident scientist, Clive Wells, in the chat. We could ask him.
Also, no, he can correct me if I am wrong.
I do like how he said that he can replace Punchy with Funchy. Okay, that's true.
So yeah, Clive, if I am mistaken, please let me know. But does that explain the 7-year itch? Probably. If you have an itch for 7 years, you need to get that checked out. But I'm in a good mood today. This is really good. We are self-cloning? No, it's just your cells are replacing all the time. So the cells in your body are replacing all the time, So I read somewhere that every 7 years, you have completely new cells compared to how you were 7 years ago. So, I read this somewhere that said that in 7 years' time, you would, if you have someone like an ex or something, it said in 7 years' time you would never have touched this body because every 7 years all my body cells have been replaced.
Yeah, well, and see, that's Clive said. He expects it's correct, and I've heard that as well. I never really looked into it, so I wasn't sure if it meant specifically or meant everything, or if it was specific to one type of cell or something, or something of the sort.
Yes. Okay, so at least Facebook was correct on one thing, Clive. Thank you very much. Oh my goodness. But yeah, in terms of being replaced, it's humanity. I mean, if you look at the plague we're going through now, the amount of people that have been, that have left us, for a lot of people, they'll never be replaced, for family and friends, but coming into work and stuff, for some, they may not be able to be replaced just yet. But eventually,
well, no, I mean, if your job is Albert Einstein, you're probably not replaceable. But, but yeah, I mean, it depends too, on the job you have, and also just what you do for the company and all that. I mean, with me, obviously my job is expendable. They could easily find someone else to do it, but they probably wouldn't find someone else that would work all the overtime and doing all the stupid crap and all that. So, I mean, to an extent, it makes you a bit less replaceable, but at the end of the day, if I were to quit tomorrow, it's not like the company would shut down or anything.
Yes. Well, I mean, in my company, when I started there, I said to myself that I want to be a part of each department as much as possible, or even just as I say, put it, have a finger in each pie. So I wanted to be a part of each department as much as if I could, and I'm a part of each. By now, I've been there 3 years, and I am a part of each department except manufacturing, and that's fine because I don't want to be a part of that department. because that's stressful. So I am a part of each department. So because I am a part of each department, I've become a little more irreplaceable.
Yeah.
What I do in my company, I may not be able to do anywhere else unless I change structures in that other company to how, or put in my expertise into that company. So what I do is in my company is irreplaceable. It's no one can do what I do at the moment unless I train someone, and that is fine with me because that means they're less likely to fire me.
There you go.
Which is great. It's it's how you have job securities. Is try and become irreplaceable in your company.
Yeah, or just work for a unionized company.
I don't know if we're unionized. I've never asked. I've never wanted to be part of a union. It's fine. It's I think the unions in this country are a bit different to unions in other countries.
Yeah, and I mean, people have varied opinions on them because they can be good, but they can be bad. Because people you give them an inch, they take a mile, that kind of thing.
Yeah, no, I get that. Right, so anybody in the chat, if you have any questions or opinions, you may send them through. But you don't need me to ask you. You can send them at any time. In fact, he says some get replaced in minutes, i.e. stomach liner. Minutes,
eh?
Yeah, minutes. Is that from hot food or alcohol from vomiting?
Both? Well, see,
vomiting from alcohol. Sorry, let me put the words in the right place.
Yeah. I don't usually vomit from alcohol, but if alcohol and hot and spicy food dissolved your stomach lining that fast, I would probably have like a million bajillion ulcers.
Yeah, I have one. So, and they say my doctor said it was from good stress, whatever that means.
I guess the stress that keeps you going and keeps you motivated. I don't know.
I don't know. But Bacon Earth says, who would you be replaced by if you had a choice?
Roxy.
I'm a female, remember?
Yeah, but people think I'm a girl from behind, so,
And I'm blonde, you're dark-haired, so it makes a difference.
Oh, then dye your hair darker.
Oh, that's a good one, Facty. He says, my younger self.
Yeah, maybe what I could do is I could go talk to my younger self and be like, hey, dumbass, slap, stay in school and go get a real job so you don't be doing what I'm doing for the rest of your life, you stupid kid.
And Lucas decided to join the stream.
Should I tell him that you're...
Welcome, team. How are you doing? Hope you're doing good. So we have a question from Clive Wells. He says, let me quickly answer Bacon. I don't know, Bacon, who I would replace me. Honestly, I don't.
Joking aside, could you have someone replace you even, like?
My younger self is, but yet again, we're not cloning. So if we were cloning, yes, my younger self. But then I would have gone on a completely different path to where I am now.
Yeah. But I think we all would have.
But yet again, if I did, I wouldn't have met all the awesome people I've met already up till now.
Also true.
So yeah. Okay, so the question from Clive. Well, sorry, Clive, I didn't mean to do that to you. Where is the question now? I missed it. I've misplaced the damn question. Oh, there it is. I found it. Who will play you in the movie of your life?
Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy?
Yeah. He looks just like me.
If you think so. If you think so. Oh my goodness. I don't know. Maybe because she is South African, I would say Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Because she's the only actress I know that can do the accent.
Yeah. Well, and for me, I would definitely, like, joking aside, I would definitely have to find someone who has the same build as me. So I'm thinking, like, maybe Chris Hemsworth or Jason Momoa or something.
Well, Jason Momoa, he could be my love interest. I don't mind that.
So there you go. And Charlie's staring can be mine. So look at that. We just figured that out.
Oh, there we go. There we go. See, this is how things work.
Yeah.
we pick the hottest people in Hollywood and ask them to be us in movies.
Yep.
That's funny. That's funny.
See?
Oh my goodness.
The land of the beautiful people, Roxy.
Yes, definitely. Shall I move on to question 2?
Yeah. Unless else has any other questions for us to answer.
I don't see. Bacon says Eddie Murphy is so much better looking. I think that's what you meant to say.
Yeah, so much better looking than me. Well, I can't disagree.
Maybe, I don't know. It's not my preference. Yes. All right, so question 2, let's get on to it quickly. And let's take that off. And it says, the question is, why don't we as species take more advantage of the fact that we have almost infinite knowledge available to us?
Sorry, why don't we what? There's kind of missed a couple words there.
Okay, so the question is, why don't we as species take more advantage of the fact that we have almost infinite knowledge available to us?
I would say, honestly, in this day and age, I think we just take it for granted. Like, we just have everything so good. People just use their phones, and half the time they don't even think about what goes into their phone or what they do. They just, people grow up and they get their jobs. And, like, for me, for instance, like I said earlier, if I could go back in time, I'd slap my younger self and be like, hey, dumbass, stay in school and go get a job where you're doing something important. But, people, I guess, they either don't want to learn more about it and they don't really care. So they just kind of fall into their lives with the blue collar jobs where they just kind of go and drink beer with their buddies and all that. And then I guess, I mean, for me, I think the biggest thing is that it's just because it's just there. I mean, a lot of us should take it for granted. I mean,
I think that is the problem. And I think because people take it for granted, we get people like flat earthers, like Karens, like anti-vaxxers, like anti-maskers and so on. And
because look at back in the day when if you wanted to learn something, I mean, and this is like, even before like say libraries were common, and you actually had to go and hunt out like knowledge and all that wasn't just widely available. Like back when you couldn't even listen to music without going to a concert or learning an instrument. Like if you wanted to learn a song, like, nowadays, if you like a song, you can just listen to it over and over again. You can learn it on the guitar or whatever. Back then, if you wanted to learn a song, you actually had to know sheet music, unless you could go to a concert and hear that song over and over again, and learn it note for note, right? So I think it's just back then, like people would literally shit their pants if they just had a cell phone where they could literally look up anything they want. Because back then, you had to go and actually search for it.
Or hear it somewhere, and if you were like a prodigy, you would actually you would learn that very quickly. You like hear it once, and you get people that hear music once and they can play it already.
Yeah,
which I think is so unfair. But again, we all have our strengths somewhere. Yeah,
and keep in mind too, a lot of times with those people, it's because even with prodigies, like that, people that don't have any sort of like autism or any sort of that, they're not on the spectrum of autism, or I don't know, words are hard today. But usually, the people that are prodigies but don't fall into that category, they still usually would have to hear it more than once, right? They still have to kind of get it. Like they could understand it very quickly, but it's the people that usually like that suffer or have the savantism. So I was actually watching, you know the channel Vsauce, right? Come on, I think everyone in this community knows Vsauce.
I don't.
Oh, that's good. Check it out. There's one episode though where he's talking about, I forget the name of the episode. I'll find it and put it in the chat later, so the name of the episode. But they had an autistic savant on, and yeah, like you said, he could literally just hear anything and immediately play it on the piano, like that. Like, if you were to like say, because he had his instructor beside him, and his instructor would just play like a 5 or 6 note chord, and then he would just play it, the 5 or 6 note chord just without even thinking about it. But he also couldn't do very simple tasks. Like he would ask him, how many notes do you think were in that chord? And he'd be like 1 or 2, when he clearly knows he played more because he used more than fingers in that. So I mean, so and again, I'm not an expert in the field of it, but I think the people that can learn it immediately, it's usually because it's just the way that either something that happened to them at one point, or But it's a really interesting episode. I'll have to find it. And
okay. No, I mean, going back to the question, we have the internet, which has both fake news as well as, stuff that is correct and true. But people, because it's just there, they take advantage of it and they think, oh, I'll go and read about this next time or another time when I've got a chance, when I'm done lazing around the house.
Yeah.
Then they'll go and read it. But having all of that knowledge and still not knowing something relevant is beyond me. Whatever people find relevant, whether it be, how stocks work, whether it be how at this point in time, I think what's most relevant is how masks actually work. Another thing is how the vaccines work, how social distancing works, things like that, and why we don't have the flu this season, and so on and so forth. So that kind of thing, it resonates at the moment because of the plague going on, and having all of that information at the moment is available to everyone because you have a cell phone that has the internet. Go and look up why we wear a mask. Go look up why there is such a thing as social distancing. Go read up why, whatever. There are reasons. But then people are like, oh, but my rights and
well,
stupid, make people make excuses for everything. I mean, who was it? I had a friend that went on about that they're not going to wear a mask because it doesn't work. So I said, but why do you think it doesn't work? They said, yeah, because it doesn't stop the disease. I said, well, the mask stops me from giving you the virus.
Well, and the problem too is
hang on, but then she said, but why must I wear a mask? I said, because you may be asymptomatic and have the virus, and by not wearing a mask, you're passing it around. So that's why you wear a mask. The mask is not there for it to protect if someone else is wearing a mask. That mask is not protecting you from them. It's protecting them. So it's not there to protect you from them. It's protecting them. No, other way around.
If you're wearing a mask, it's to protect others.
Yes, that's it. Sorry, my mind has just gone to sleep. The mask is there to protect you from them. That's why they're wearing a mask. But you still need to wear a mask because if you are asymptomatic, then you have the virus and you don't know it. So you will be passing it on. That's why you are protecting others with your mask.
Yes, and if we all do our part and everyone just wears a mask, it'll limit the spread. And I think that's a big thing too, is because obviously a mask doesn't stop at 100%. It's not 100% effective. So I think because they think that and they think, oh well, if it's still spreading around, then clearly they aren't doing anything. It's like, no, it's not how it works. It's like a seatbelt. It's not 100% effective, but it's definitely a lot safer than not wearing a seatbelt. And another reason it's spreading too is because not everyone's wearing masks.
Yes. I mean, and also social distancing. I mean, when we had the Spanish flu in 1912 or something.
I remember that. I was young, but I remember it.
1910. I think 1910. I think it was the virus was around for 2 to 3 years because people didn't want to isolate when they were sick. They didn't social distance. They didn't wear masks. So the disease was around. The virus was around for 3 years. Now imagine being quarantined or being isolated for 3 years. I mean, if the human race just if the human race just wore the mask as they were told to, and social distance as they were supposed to, wash their hands, clean their hands, and disinfect their hands as they're supposed to, the virus, we wouldn't have the numbers we have now. It would still be here, yes, because it's not something that just poof disappears. I mean, AIDS is still around. It doesn't just disappear. Just because you don't hear about it doesn't mean it's gone. But if we just wore masks, if people just wore masks, sanitized, and practice social distancing from the get-go, it wouldn't have become a worldwide pandemic. And even if it did, and people still practice that, we wouldn't have the numbers we have today.
Yeah, well, it's even like where I live. Like when it first started to spread back in March there, at first we closed everything down except for like, takeout and restaurants, and our numbers were super low. Like so Manitoba has a population of about 1.3 million people. And at one point, like we only had 400 cases, 400 known cases, obviously. And that was like, Factard might remember that it was this around like the middle of summer at that point, and we were getting like 0 new cases a day for like weeks at a time. Then we opened things back up, and back when we opened things up, masks weren't mandatory yet, so a lot of people didn't wear them. And then it started to spread, and then we were getting like lately, before we went into code red again, we were getting over 500 cases a day, which doesn't sound like a lot, for Americans, but given that our population is so low, that's a big number, given that Manitoba is such a spread out province, right? So it's and then of course, obviously, once we went into code red, masks became mandatory and they shut everything down, and now they're super strict. And it's like, well, maybe you guys should have. I mean, I think when they reopened things, they could have had it to limited capacity, but when they reopened things, they should have made masks mandatory at the rest. I think that would have made a big difference.
I see Cloud Wells says here. He says, I hear in Finland there was an uproar about imposing a 2-meter social distancing rule, excuse me, as they were used to much larger social distance. So they're complaining that the social distance, the distance of social distancing was shorter than what they're used to.
Yeah, he's just joking. It's like, no, I've watched a lot of band videos that live in Finland. They all drink and they all get close to each other, buddy. That's not true at all. Europeans are all about getting close to each other.
Was that a joke? Okay. I didn't see the joke. I'm sorry, Clive. My humor is still sitting on the couch.
Clive has that dry British wit. Yes. Quiet.
No, I'm sorry, Clive. I'm really sorry. Like I said, I went for a nap before the stream. And I was also only went to bed about 4 o'clock this morning. So my like I had a nap before the stream, so my humor is sitting on the couch where I was sleeping. Sorry, but I'll try and ask it to come back.
You got me here, and humor is the one thing I know really well.
Well, you're Canadian. That's all the humor I need.
Oh yeah, well, snap.
We all have to work on the humor. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
In fact, we do. We all have to work on the humor issues.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. Yeah. Is there anyone else that has anything to say about this specific question?
And remember, we went off on a big tangent. The question was, why do people tend to ignore or just not pay attention or take advantage of the fact that we have basically virtually unlimited knowledge at the tip of our fingers?
Yeah. Why don't we as a species take more advantage of the fact that we have unlimited? We have infinite knowledge available to us. It's just people are lazy. People are like, we'll get there tomorrow, kind of thing. It's for me. I mean, the amount of knowledge that I can learn for just video editing, for just how to stream, for just how to fix my audio issues, how to get music into my stream, how to, do anything that I need to do to make this work. The information out there is unlimited, and you can get it in any language you like.
Yeah. Oh, and
there's no excuse that it's only English. There's no excuse.
Well, and again, that's why I go back to my original point, that just saying that it's just a lot of times. I mean, again, there are a lot of reasons. Like, we didn't touch them on 2 of them, so I kind of want to get into a couple of those. But quickly, I'll say is when it comes to the whole, we take it for granted. I mean, that's what I do too, right? Like, I could be going and learning stuff, right now or any other time that I'm not at work, and usually I'm just sitting on my bed, on YouTube or something, right? So a lot of it's just the fact that we just have so much entertainment now that it's just, I guess it just goes back that you just procrastinate, like you were saying. But then also you were saying how then there's people like flat earthers and all that, and people that just don't want to. So I was gonna get into that a bit more earlier too. But so I was gonna say, I think that's a big thing too, is because back in the day, because I mean, since the dawn of time, there have been smart people, there have been average people, and there have been dumb people, right? That hasn't changed. But the difference is, until the internet, or until people could really meet up and discuss their opinions and ideas, and whether they agreed or disagreed, you would have people like flat earthers where they wouldn't, for the most part, they wouldn't really be able to go out and meet all these other flat earthers, and they wouldn't have people to validate their stupidity. So they would either have to just kind of live on their own and think their stupid thoughts, or maybe because, if you're not on the internet, you can actually be challenged and actually be forced to kind of look at your own beliefs and really question whether they're right or wrong. Whereas on the internet, if someone says, oh no, the Earth's not flat because here's real evidence, they'll just say, oh, well, I'm going to block you and go talk to my other friends. We're going to laugh at how stupid you are. Ha 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 ha. And so a lot of it's ignorance. And when you get stupid people that, in all fairness, they're not even capable of understanding what a correct answer is, or they just have that bias that they just can't let go. And that's a big thing too. So I think it's also the fact that they just choose to ignore it, but they ignore it in a very biased way. Because, I mean, if you look, as we know with flat earthers, they still go and look up science stuff all the time, but they just try and find anything that they think fits their narrative. So if they see the description of something and it has the word flat in it, they'll just be like, oh, okay, I'm just going to copy paste that and use that. So it's like they do go and look up some of the information that we know, but they cherry pick it and they misunderstand it so bad it makes the information completely worthless in in their minds, at least, like their bastardized version of it.
Well, just remember, everybody wants a narrative. And if it doesn't fit their narrative, they're not using it.
Oh, yeah. And don't get me wrong. Everyone has a bias about something, whether they want to admit it or not. It's just that, with certain things, like something just as trivial as the shape of the Earth, it's like, no, it's so well established, just you're dumb. But I mean, when it comes to certain other things, like, things that maybe we don't know for sure yet, or they aren't as well established, then obviously people might have a bias towards something. I mean, there's nothing specifically wrong with that because we all do it. But in all fairness, if we want to better everything and learn more, you should be able to remove the bias, but it's just how humans are.
Yeah, well, the question is, do you want to remove the bias?
Yeah.
I mean, as much as we all indeed love being, right, sometimes it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
There's nothing wrong with being wrong. That's how you learn. That's how I've learned, with whatever it is in life, whether it be certain information, whether it be about people, whether it be about, a topic, whatever it is. There's nothing wrong with being wrong about that something or about that someone. There's nothing wrong with that, because that's how we learn, and that adds to the infinite knowledge that we have available to us.
Yeah.
And that's what we should concentrate on.
Exactly.
is adding to that infinite knowledge.
Yeah. And I mean, I think too, like, when I was younger, I'm assuming a lot of people that were in their late teens, early 20s are probably guilty of this. You just tend to think you know more about stuff than you do, because you're kind of in that age where you're like, yeah, I know everything. I got this. I'm an adult now.
And then when you're actually adult, then you have no idea what that is.
Yeah, then you meet people that have real education, real experience in a certain field, and you're like, okay, I don't know jack crap about it. Never mind.
I've been there. Thought I knew something about something, and someone comes to me and says, I think you got your numbers wrong. You got this information wrong. I'm like, do I really know anything now? That's the question. Do I actually even know anything? But it's all good. It's all good. I have a question from Bacon. He says, why do people claim to be critical thinkers while they process the information yet reject a lot of it?
I'm gonna say that, again, that just happened. That's just the whole bias thing, right? Again, with flat earthers, it's because flat earthers, they have no scientific background. Like, I don't either. So I'm not gonna say I'm better than them by any means, but because they have that, usually it's a conspiratorial, and I know we always jump back to flat earthers, but it's what we can all relate to, right, with this. So yeah, it's because, like, for instance, the one flat earther that got me into, flat earth, not got me into it, but, told me about it. Like, same thing. He has no scientific background, but he thinks he's smarter than he is. He has a conspiratorial mindset. So, of course, as soon as you bring in someone's lying to you, they just jump all over it. And and so, same thing. They'll think that they're critical thinkers, and like when they're processing it, because they're going by their very, very limited knowledge of a field. And again, they're the peak of Mount Stupid in the Dunning-Kruger effect chart there. And so then once they've reached, and again, this comes back to the bias, once they get that bias, they just project anything they don't want to hear, right?
I mean, there are some things that, a lot of us don't want to know. A lot of us don't want to accept. But eventually you have to, because it's a part of life.
No, and that's just it. And like I said before, I think everyone has a bias towards something, whether they know it yet or just whether they want to admit it or not. But I mean, it's just there are some things that they're so well established. It's just you're dumb for not questioning it, but you're dumb for arguing it.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that and I say this to some people, and Ray can ask me this question. He asked me, so in terms of doing doing your own experiments to prove the Earth is flat, why don't you do it? So I said, why do I need to do it when I have got centuries of scientists that have done it for me?
Yeah.
Why must I go now do it when I don't even have the scientific knowledge to even attempt to do any of these? So I have no idea even how to attempt to do it. So yes, I'm going to fall back on the scientists, but holy hell, it's decades, centuries worth of scientific knowledge that I am relying on. I'm not just relying on the willy-nilly 2020 scientists. I'm relying on everyone as far back as Galileo and even further. So, exactly. It's not like I'm only relying on Neil deGrasse Tyson for my information. No.
Yeah.
I'm relying on scientists as a whole.
Well, not me. I only listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson. Whatever he says, I'm just like, all right, it's pear-shaped. He said it. Or, he dropped a mic and said gravity. That's it. And...
which I find funny. But yes, I just think that any kind of knowledge is available out there. Like I said, to stream, I mean, anybody in the chat, anybody in the world can learn to do whatever topic they want to learn. I mean, this amazing thing called YouTube, I've learned so much on how to do things. I've learned how to use Photoshop because of it. I've learned how to use Premiere because of it. I've learned how to use OBS, Streamlabs OBS. I've learned so much because of the infinite knowledge that we have on the internet.
Yes. However, one thing I should say here, and if any flat earthers listening, you can learn a lot on YouTube and by books and all that, but for the most part, it is not a good replacement for a formal education. There's a difference between going to school for 8 years and learning something very, very complex and specific to a certain field and just learning stuff. Because yes, I've learned a lot of stuff from YouTube as well. I mean, definitely can't argue that.
So yeah, it's I just think that people need to accept that. I just think people need to get off their asses and actually learn something that is not in their comfort zone.
Well, and that's just it. And like you said, there's still there's so much you can go learn. I mean,
yes,
sometimes you might have to have someone there to kind of guide you along if you're getting into really complicated stuff, but you can still learn so much. I mean,
yes. One of my favorite topics, most people know, is to talk about is Scientology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And quick plug here is I now do a show on Scientology every month. Just because I've been researching it and watching shows and reading blogs and reading articles and so on and so forth. Just because I've been doing all that doesn't mean I know everything about it. I'm still learning a lot from Chris Shelton. I'm still learning a lot from the shows that I've watched and rewatched, because every time I watch it, it's something new that I pick up.
Yeah.
So it's just pick a topic that you seem interested in and just go with it, and eventually you'll find yourself in a rabbit hole. And that is what's so amazing. The rabbit hole that you can find yourself in, and it doesn't have to just be YouTube. It can be anywhere. You can find a rabbit hole anywhere. Reddit, Google, even just on Google itself, you search up something and you have 100 to 200 pages of stuff you can go look at, you know, of different sites that you can go look at. So just, we have this knowledge.
Yeah. Oh, and also though, if you are going to be kind of site hopping, I would say, make sure you're verifying the information depending on.
I was just about to say that. Just make sure you're not just looking at anything, accepting anything that's
especially on the internet, obviously.
Yes. So just try and get it verified by, another site or another 10 sites.
Yeah.
Or
let's say that the site you found it from wasn't an official site, like any sort of official site from a university or wherever you get studies and stuff from. If you can find maybe an official site that would have it, and or get some sort of citation to back it up, then hey.
Yeah. Let me just quickly welcome some new people into the chat. I see them already chatting. I see Jess has arrived. Thank you so much for joining, honey. I appreciate it. I see Alien X Gaming has joined. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming, and I hope you enjoy the show. I did see Jess. She did say something really good. Let me just quickly find it in here. She did say, we seem to only focus on flirt anti-maskers or conspiracy anti-maskers, but I can think of two off the top of my head that are on just about every stream. What is that, honey? Let me know. What are those two topics that you can think of that we don't get to? Clive Walsh says, PhD Tony was friends with Galileo.
I thought PhD Tony was Galileo's mentor.
Could be. They were still friends. They still could have been friends. Bacon Oath says, I think this community should call out any false information or false representation regardless of the person making them.
Yep,
I agree. It could be Clive Wells could say something and that he might have read somewhere, and someone that has actually practiced or has researched or has studied that topic could correct him. And I think Clive Wells would be accepting that he was wrong and learn from what he's just learned from it. Even Tony as well.
Yeah, but let's be honest, Clive Wells is never wrong.
I beg your pardon?
So let's be honest, so Clive Wells is never wrong. But whenever he does his math in the side chat, he never carries the one.
Sorry, I just found one that's quite funny. King Cruz says, does Punchy know when he'll be reaching his puberty? But that's something you should have kept into. Never mind. That's just funny.
I'm hoping a couple of days, I'm starting to get hair where there wasn't before. My voice is getting deeper, and yep.
Well, Jessica just stated that you got your voice back, so.
I know. I don't sound like a 90-year-old man anymore. It's great.
Oh my goodness. Scientology. Clive says Scientology is run by vegetables called Mr. Oh my goodness, Clive. Oh my goodness, that is a really good one. That's a really good one.
Classic Clive.
Okay, let me see. I don't see Jess's replying just yet, but that's fine. Okay, so I think we've covered that one quite extensively. Don't know about you.
I think so.
Okay. Let's just get over to our last question.
All right,
we're speeding through this, which is fine. Not that there's a problem.
And the last one? Are we doing 3 or 4?
Oh, goodness. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I apologize. We're on 3. I'm so sorry.
All good.
The question is, what is the most important goal every person should have? And I'm going to answer quickly.
I live in Canada, so the most important goal is getting the puck in the net, but...
Could do it that way. You could have that if you want. For me, I think it's to be happy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, right? But I mean, again, too, to be happy, you're gonna have other goals to kind of get there to an extent, right? I mean, because what do you want to be happy? Because I mean, you can just say that you're happy, Like, let's say, and obviously happiness, it's different for everyone else, right? Like some people, they don't mind just going and getting a minimum wage job and say living in an apartment by themselves their whole life, and they just enjoy it because they might have their friends and they do whatever, and that's the thing. Some people might really want to succeed in something, whether it's business or a scientific field, and so even though it's a lot more work to get there, and they might not be as happy the whole time they're doing it, maybe they're happier in the end, or maybe at the end they're completely miserable, realizing that, hey, I've had this family for X amount of years, but I'm so busy with work, and it's...
Yeah, and I think that's a big problem in society today, is that we're so busy with work or whatever it is that we're trying to do to make money, is that we forget about those moments with family and friends.
But then on the other side too, sometimes you kind of need that money to be happy with the family. If you're struggling to make ends meet every week, then you have your family and you're working less, but then you're constantly stressed out, right? So it's
okay. Coming from my side, yes, I agree with that. I completely agree. However, it does not mean you need to miss out on those special moments.
Yeah, and that's just it, right? So that's why I kind of think that it just depends on who you are and what you're looking for. Because some people don't mind being alone their whole lives. Like maybe they focus on whatever it is they want to do, and for them, they don't really want to get married and have a family and all that. So for them, it's not as big a deal because they're not missing out on anything. Whereas other people, it's the complete opposite, and so.
I think people. If you're single, and you work a lot, that's fine. But also, you are missing out on time to find that special person. And look, if you're not that kind of person to go and want to settle down or be with someone, that's fine. You do you. But if you are the kind of person and you're working all the time, you are missing out on those moments where to find someone.
Yeah, and that's where I think you'd have to kind of find that happy balance, right?
Yes, and I think that's a great thing. I mean, recently I've just gone through something in my own life where I need to I need to figure out my time on YouTube and my time in real life.
Yeah.
And I need to set myself a schedule where I can still spend time with my family and my fiance and my friends, as well as make sure that this as my YouTube channel, even my Twitch, are is somewhere where it will be growing and not just stagnant.
Yeah.
You need to put effort in your real life and your work, and I have 2 jobs, and this is not a job for me. This is something amazingly fun for me. So I don't see it as a job. I just see it as something that I enjoy doing, but it's still earning me money. So in essence, it's a job, but I love it. And I love doing this. So I need to include this in my life in some way or another. So I do. And for me to do that, I need to, make sure I can arrange my life into a way where I can be available in my real life and for my friends and for my family, and still be here to entertain everyone and ask these questions and have people on and have these conversations. Have the conversation about Scientology, have the conversation about, if we're replaceable, what is the meaning of life, and, so on and so forth. I want to do this. This is what I enjoy doing, I love doing this. Yeah. And I love the fact that I have 123 people watching me, or wanting, subscribe to me, should I say. 123 people subscribe to me. That to me is like, wow. Yeah. Sometimes I can barely get 5 people in a room to listen to me. Now I've got 123. At the moment, 15 people are watching and listening to us talk. But I can sometimes barely get 5 people to even listen to me in a room.
Yeah. Like so if we were a person, I'd just be like, I'm going to go stand over there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If I mean, look, it's a little bit unfair at the moment because, if we had 16 people in this chat, no one would hear anybody. In this call, no one would hear anybody. So, it's a little unfair like this, but at least now I get to say my say that I don't get to say in a room of 5 people.
Yeah.
And this is those goals to make. This makes me happy that I get to say my say. And I think each of us having a channel of our own, if you want to say your say, is important, because if that makes you happy to be able to say your say, do it.
Yeah.
But yes, happiness is, to me, is the most important goal.
Yeah.
In anybody's life.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't agree. I don't disagree.
Yeah. I think if you're not happy, you need to change something in your life to make you happy. And look, if you like living a life of being miserable and so on, do it, go for it. It's your life.
Hey, some people enjoy that too.
But I don't know. I think everybody should be in a position to be happy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like you said, that's. So, what was the specific question again? What are your goals, or what is
the most important goal every person should have?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's for me, I think it's a very interesting one.
Yeah, well, see, for me, because I don't know if I would consider being happy a goal in itself, right? Because there's so many things you'd have to do to be happy, like because you still have to set goals just to get that. And you just still have to meet those goals. Otherwise, I think I would say happiness is almost just an outcome of meeting said goals.
Yes, yeah. No, I mean, whatever makes you happy, you need to do. Need to do. I see some people gave me a bit of crap for skipping out on a question. So
hey, is it because I'm Canadian? You can be honest.
It's because you're Canadian. Yes.
I knew it.
I'm sorry, eh?
Hey, that was pretty good. You're learning.
I'm learning.
Yes.
I think I've got a bit of Canadian in my blood somewhere. Got to just find it.
You do apologize a lot, so I would say probably.
It's but my blood cells are busy playing hockey, so they're busy at the moment.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I miss hockey. See, that's what makes me happy. Was just going out. I mean, I know it's not in itself a goal. I don't make it a goal of mine or a mission of mine to go out. I mean, I will once places open again, because I'm not taking that for granted again. But as far as being happy, that's definitely one thing too. It's just going out, and that's another reason why having a bit of money is nice too, because you can go out and spend that money and just go out with your friends. And now, obviously it depends on what you like to do when you go out. It's just that for me, everything I like to do is freaking expensive, because for a hockey game, for instance, it's like for the cheap tickets, it's $150 per seat. Then you're spending $9 on a beer, and if you want food, holy crap! I got a burger at the arena once, like $13, $14, and it wasn't even anything fancy.
Okay, so Clive Wells disagrees, and that's okay. He says, I don't think happiness is the goal to have. To live a rewarding life is more than the pursuit of personal happiness. Some of the most lived lives were not always happy ones.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I agree with that. I do agree with that. Let's just keep it up. I do agree with that. It's to a point.
But again, too, it's like you were saying, it's for everyone the goal's different, right? I mean,
yes.
I mean, for some people, it's not necessarily the most rewarding life, but it's happy. And then for some people, it is rewarding, and it, like you said, might not be the happiest. But and again, that's why I just said it's person to person, right? And
no, I mean, look, if you feel that your life is rewarding but you're not happy about it, what is it that's made it rewarding then? If you're not happy,
let's say that you spent your whole life figuring out let's say an ultimate cure that cured every single illness known to man, but because of that you never made any friends, you never met that special someone, you never had a family, etc., but you died old after you did that, would you necessarily be happy? No, but you definitely would probably be, you'd feel very rewarded for doing that.
I suppose that some people, I mean, it all just depends on the person, I suppose. Okay, yeah, no, I get that. I get that. But I still think you've got to be happy somewhere.
Yeah, but I mean, and again too, I mean, maybe it's not that they chose to necessarily not be happy. It's just that I guess sometimes they just have that thing they really, really want to accomplish, right? I mean, it's like for me, it's like, okay, man, my job pisses me off a lot, and in theory, I could go look for another job and do all that. That would probably make me happier, but then it just might be a job I don't. Sorry, yeah. Unless I were to go to school and all that, which again, then I'm still working full time and going to school, so then I'm still busy literally all days, 5 days a week. So then it's like, yeah, in the end, I might be happier, but so I think there's just so much to it, right? And I mean, I'm not saying don't try it if you don't want to do it, because I mean, obviously, don't just say, oh, it sounds a little bit tricky, so I'm just gonna not bother. If you really want to, do it. It's just that, yeah, don't expect yourself to necessarily be happy right away, but it might pay off in the end.
Yes. So Clive Wells follows this up. He says, take Churchill for instance. He lived an amazing life, but suffered from depression at times. He saved the world from a terrible fate, far better than a drug addict who is always happy.
Well, keep in mind though, drug addicts aren't happy when they're sober, so.
Well, you can say that for anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you could probably name a lot of things a drug. It doesn't necessarily have to be, a chemical or a psychedelic. Food could be a drug. Alcohol is a drug. Sex is a drug. Gaming is a drug. Being on the internet all the time is a drug. And a lot of people suffer from depression just doing one or two of these things. For me, being on the internet has caused me a bit of depression. I'm not going to lie about that. It has, and this is why I'm trying to sort out my real life so I can fix that. So I don't want to be addicted to being on my computer, worried about all my streaming stuff and getting that done. I want to be able to come home, spend some time with fiance, have dinner, spend some time together, and then if there's time at the end of the night, come and quickly do some streaming stuff, or work for YouTube or work for Twitch. It's just you need to find a balance. I think that's what it is. I think balance is what happiness is. So the pursuit of balance is what will make you happy.
Yeah.
And I think the pursuit of balance is the goal everybody should have.
Yeah, well, and then Mr. Andrea just said, happy is a state of mind. Many things can change that state. But just to clarify, I think when Roxy said to be happy, I don't think she meant 24/7. I just think she meant, just a general happiness, which again, I think is also in this particular case could be synonymous with rewarding, like Clive was saying. So,
yes.
Because, it's like if you have a family and you're really happy with them, you're still going to get pissed off at your kids being little shits once in a while. Your significant still going to piss you off by leaving dishes in the sink or farting in bed and all that stuff. So you're not always going to be happy. It's just an overall happiness. Like, that's what you want in life. And you're willing to put up with that little bit of crap that you take or deal with because, it's still like if you were, say, to not have them in your life and not have that life you built with them, then you're just going to be constantly just, in a bad mood.
Yes. Quickly, I just want to welcome Dutch Heretic and Mr. Andret to the stream. Thank you guys for coming in and having a chat with us. Appreciate it very, very much. Mr. Andret, he did mention something which I do agree with. Happiness is a state of mind. Many things can change that state. Yes. But it is in your control to fix that state. To get out of it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
and I'm not saying it's sometimes it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy to just get out of the state. No, believe me, I know it's not. But work on steps to get out of that state of mind. Me personally, I'm a happy-go-lucky kind of person. I'm a very cheerful person. I'm a very happy person. So for me to be suffering from depression is not a really amazing thing because I suffer from depression and because I'm not happy or happy, feeling like a happy-go-lucky kind of person or always cheery, it gets worse for me.
Yeah. Well,
It
and
makes it worse for me.
I'm gonna say to you, just to clarify, when she's saying that, if you're not happy, do something to make yourself happy. She's not saying that you can just switch it on and be happy. She's just
Yes.
meaning, make steps towards figuring out what you need to do, whether it is to go see a therapist or to maybe, I mean, depending on, on why you're not happy, right? I mean, sometimes you could just be bored. Other times it could be depression. So it obviously varies a lot. Sometimes it's just, get off your ass and go outside, or back when you could go outside, now get off your ass and go read a book or talk to your friend online or something, right? But then of course you can get the other side of the spectrum where it's obviously you can't you can't go do something to cheer yourself up, but you figure out, if you have to talk to someone, figure out some steps you can take and things that you can do to to slowly get there.
Yes, it's just taking the steps to be happy. But yet again, some people, their goal isn't happiness. Their goal is to, like you said earlier, is to find the cure for whatever, and that's fine. And taking those steps to be there is what we work towards. Mine personally, my important goal is to be happy, whether it is alone, whether it is with someone, whether it is with my 2 cats, whether it was just my immediate family or my extended family, whether it is with just my friends, it doesn't matter. If I become the kind of person where my life is just internet, where touch wood that Frank and my fiance and I break up, and I'm alone, I would become addicted to the internet, and I'd be on the internet all the time, because I know that I have people here that I know, and this is where I want to be all the time, because because people here make me happy, and I want to be around the people that I'm happy with.
I mean, the problem with that though too is it's kind of a double-edged sword almost, because the internet can be great to talk to your friends and all that, but I mean, realistically, if you are depressed or that, it can be the worst things that can kind of take a hold of you almost, right? Because with the internet, you don't have to actually go outside and talk to people. You don't just have to change your clothes. Like, I'm still wearing the clothes I was wearing 2 days ago, but you don't have to do that. So I mean, it's not the fact that it doesn't help, but you could almost kind of use it as a crutch and kind of sink into it, right? And then because like for me, for instance, I was off work, as everyone knows, for the last 3 months, and at first it's awesome because you get some time off and I can just sit around and play video games and do whatever. Then after a while, it gets really boring. And even though work, like I said, it pisses me off to no end a lot. It's just, you lose that sense of purpose. You lose that schedule, because I'm not very self-motivated, which is obviously my fault. But I'm not going to wake up at 7 a.m. every day if I don't have to be up for something. So you start to just sleep sporadically throughout the day, and then before you know it, you're really bored. And so even though, like I said, I'm back at work now, and I'm still getting really pissed off and I'm at work every day, I'm still in a better mood overall, just because I'm getting out of the house and being out in the real world again, right? And so even though I'm frustrated here and there, it's just nice, having that schedule and having that motivation and that little bit of just, that sense of purpose in life almost again.
I see Mr. Andrew, he added on to it. He says, the human condition is hard to understand and control your own mind. And then followed up with antidepressants, often a necessary evil. Problem is the evil part. I suppose antidepressants, it depends who you talk to. Some people, antidepressants are a lifesaver, whereas for other people, they use it for a little while because it helps them in that moment, and then it's done.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a kind of person that I've thought about going to therapy, but I'm just worried they give me chronic medication, and I don't want to be on my medication for the rest of my life. And I know that medication could help me, but I'm taking those steps to get out of my depression all on my own. And yes, it may take a little bit longer, and it may put a lot of strain on my relationship. However, in that process, I'm learning about myself. My fiance is learning about me at the same time, and we're learning to beat this together. So in essence, it's making us stronger.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
To get out of it quick would be great. To get my life back to the way it was before before my depression hit me would be great. but then I wouldn't learn the stuff that I have now, learn what I have now, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So
No, exactly.
yes, it's a necessary evil for some people, but I just don't want to take them. I don't want to be on it for the rest of my life. And I know,
Yeah.
once you're out, the doctor says, okay, cool, you're good, and then you can stop taking it. The problem is that when you get back into depression, you have to go back onto it.
Yeah.
So learning how to get out of your depression on your own, I think is a great tool to have.
Yeah, well, and I think the problem too with antidepressants or any drug for that matter, like you said, it could be literally anything from illegal drugs to alcohol to coffee to video games, and so just like that with anything else, if it's something that makes you feel good, then you might not even want to try and wean yourself off. So rather than trying to get the proper help you need, you're just going to take the easy way out and just continue that and not make the effort, right? Just like the people will do with alcohol or drugs or even, like you said, video games, or just something that you wouldn't consider a drug in the traditional sense, but something that people just get addicted to, and then they kind of they use that to escape from their problems of the real world. Like when people would play World of Warcraft for days on end back when it was really popular back in the day.
Yes. No, look, let me just quickly put in a disclaimer. If you feel you need to go to therapy, go. I am not stopping you. That what I have chosen is my own opinion and my own choice. If you feel you need to go, go. If you don't know if you should go, go, because it's something you may need. I don't want people to think that I'm stopping them from going to therapy if they need it, from being on antidepressants if they need it. This is my choice that I have decided to take, to do this on my own, to do it myself. It's my choice that I've taken. So again, please don't see this as me telling you not to go. I know there's a lot of people in this community that are clever enough to know when it's a disclaimer or not. Some people don't see it, of course.
Yeah.
But please understand that I'm not telling anyone to not go onto antidepressants. If you feel you need to do it, then do it. Go onto them and get help, the help that you need. I have just personally chosen not to go that route.
Yeah. Oh, and also don't do illegal drugs. Illegal drugs are bad.
Yes, and wear a mask.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, if there's anybody else in the chat that has anything else to say, because I see a lot of people talking about HDMI cables and such. I think it's great that people are helping each other out. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Makaraptor, thank you so much for joining, honey. I do appreciate you coming in. It's great to see you. It's really, really great to see you. And Ned, I see that you complained about being late. Don't stress about it, really. You made it, and that's what counts. That's what counts. Also, Facty, yes, Ned is on Discord. He has his own Discord server. So, yes. I'm not seeing anything else in the chat. Is there no one else? Okay, so it seems like Mr. Raptor's the only one concentrating on the conversation. Everyone else is having their own. He says, been on and off them for over a decade. NTDs will keep you from doing something stupid in the short term. Problem is, they prescribe them forever. Alleviation and counseling are needed. And as I said, that's why I said, if you feel you need to do it, do it. If they prescribe to you forever, then then that's something that's your choice, And
Yeah,
yes, sometimes it's needed.
But also too, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to say anything about it, obviously. But if you're on them, and let's say you think, okay, I want to start weaning off of them, I think I'm there, but my doctor keeps on prescribing them, then maybe you could tell your doctor how you're feeling, and then, like Mr. Hunter said, do that reevaluation to see if you actually should be weaning off them, or if maybe. And again, I'm not going to say anything about it in terms of what you should do, but just because like you're saying, they prescribe them forever. So if there is that reevaluation and all that, so
sometimes a reevaluation does help, and they give you something that is not as strong. It all just depends, and also a second, even third opinion does help. you know.
Yeah. No, exactly.
So yeah, it's just depending on you. And you know, reading where it says anti-Ds will keep you from doing something stupid in the short term. Now that is that is something that is quite a serious topic. And you know, I think maybe 2 in every 10 people have thought about doing that in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the odds are even more. The stats are even more, and that's fine. It's a sad statistic, but you know, it's there. And unfortunately, we live in a world that has that kind of statistic. But if depression gets you to a point where you know you want to do that kind of thing to yourself, I'm not going to mention it because I don't want my channel to be, you know, hurt by it. But it seems like those kind of words are starting to become non-user friendly. But yes, it's just something that it's a very difficult topic to talk about.
Yeah, well, and like Jessica just said, I think the antidepressant discussion should be talked to people in the actual medical field, and that's what I mean. Like, I'm not going to say anything into it. I'm just going to say, if you feel a certain way about it, that's what you got to talk to your doctor and figure out what you want to do with that and the best way about it.
Yes, they can help someone their entire life. They can also make it easier for someone to kill themselves. Yeah. And I think depression is a very, very serious topic that that us people that are not for people, majority of us that are probably not even schooled in that topic, or not psychologists or therapists.
No.
You know, it's not something we should be just talking about la-di-da. It's a very serious topic. It's something that does affect a lot of people, you know. No, Jess, none of us, I don't think anyone here is qualified to say anything on it, but we do have our opinions on it, I suppose.
Yeah, basically, at the end of the day, just, you know, if you just do what you feel you have to do. I mean, no one can tell you what to do. I know it sounds dumb, but at the end of the day, it's...
Yeah. Okay, we are now going on to question 4 because it's got dark, very dark very quickly. But yes, Jess, it is a very difficult topic, a very tricky topic to talk about. Okay, so let's go on to question 4. I will give you this question 4 because darn it, you deserve it. Okay, so question 4 is: some people believe that if life has no purpose, then there is no reason for living, while others, oh goodness, this is a long question. Okay, let me start this again. I'm sorry. Some people believe that if life has no purpose, then there is no reason for living, while others think that if life has no purpose, that frees a person to find and create. Wow. Hang on. How did this question work? Holy crap.
I don't know.
Hang on. This question is a really long one. I need my big screen for this one. Okay, let me start it again. I'm so sorry. Some people believe that if life has no purpose, there is no reason for living, while others think that if life has no purpose, that frees a person to find or create and follow their own personal purpose, which is a more valid point of view, or are they both equally valid?
Okay, so just to clarify here, are you saying that people who think that there is a purpose to life won't go and try and find their own purpose because I think there's already what's the word I'm looking for here right now? Like a pre-chosen purpose for them, whereas the people that don't think there is will go off and make their own purpose in life, kind of thing, or?
Yeah, I think what this is going on, I don't want to get into the religious part of it, but I think that's where this is going. A lot of people, you know, especially, you know, Christians believe that there is a purpose, or even other religions that feel they have this belief that they have a purpose in life, and their purpose is to live a pure life, or live a Christian life, or live this kind of life, or live that kind of life, and that's the purpose they feel they've been given. Whereas a lot of other people, atheists, agnostics, non-believers, whatever you want to call them, they feel they are able to follow their own personal purpose and make their own purpose for their own life and follow that.
Okay, I gotcha.
And I think, coming from my point of view of being spiritual, I think they're both valid to a point. I think we cannot tell someone that the purpose that they feel they've been given is not valid.
Well,
I was to live a certain life, that's their prerogative, within reason, of course.
Well, I was gonna say, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you're not hurting anyone or doing anything like inherently bad or evil, I don't really think there's a difference. I mean, obviously, like for me, when you hear like religious people, depending on which religion, they talk about how their Bible says "Thou shalt not kill" or "Thou shalt not do this" and all that. It's like, here's the thing. I don't need a book or the fear of hell to tell me that that's wrong. I already know it's wrong to kill someone. So it's like, if they're only doing it because of that, I think that's pretty dumb. But I know obviously not everyone's like that. But it's just, when I hear religious people talk about how, oh, well, if you don't live this life doing what the Bible says, then you're going to go to hell. It's like, so are you saying that you're only living as a good person because of the fear of hell?
Yeah. No, I get that. I think that, if a religious person has that purpose to live a good life, to live a, what they call a purified life, by all means live it, as long as it's within the law of the land and the law of, whatever it is that you believe in.
Yeah. But, well, and like I said, I don't think. Sorry, go ahead.
But stick to. You got to have. You got to still follow the law of the land, regardless of what your religion says. You need to stick to the law of the land, because I know in the Bible, even my spirituality being pagan, law of the land is just as important as your spiritual laws. Because even in the Bible, I know it says that you got to follow the laws of the land. You have to, because that's what God wants you to do. So for these people that think that they're above the law and of a religion is just, it's not on. And now I'm going off topic. Sorry, I just went right off topic and I apologize. But I think if you feel you have a purpose to live, then live it. Just make sure you're not hurting anyone in the process.
Yeah, well, I mean, in all fairness, I mean, I think everyone feels they have a purpose. I mean, it's not always good. If you look at, Germany in the 40s, for instance, that guy didn't have a good purpose, but he still felt he had a purpose. So I still think everyone does. And like I said, as long as your purpose isn't, or what you think your purpose is, as long as it's not hurting anyone or it's not evil in any way, I don't really care. I mean, obviously, not everyone's going to agree with everyone's purpose, what they think their purpose should be. But I still think whether people are religious or not, they still have the same basic goals in life, right? I mean, most people are, or some people are going to want to meet a significant other and start a family and raise children and all that, and have that. Well, this might be more of a North American thing, but have that house with the white picket fence, the American dream back in the 50s and all that. Yes. I still think whether you're atheist or religious, a lot of people are going to still want that. But then conversely, you're also going to get atheists and religious people that would just prefer to be alone. I mean, and then you're going to get people in between that who maybe want to go out and have a couple fun nights at some strip clubs and places of ill repute, but they don't want to actually be in a relationship. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what. It's just that obviously the middle one that I said there might lean more to the atheist side, not the religious side.
Yes. Well, I mean, even me being just spiritual, I believe that my purpose in life is set by me, because I'm not dictated by my deities. To as long as I'm not harming anyone, my purpose in life is not set by them.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think that's the biggest thing, right? I think I think that whether you have what you would consider like a predetermined fate in life or not, I think everyone still kind of makes up their own fate or purpose. They just might be doing it for different reasons.
And I think it's amazing if people can find or create their own purpose in life and do good with it. I think that's amazing. I think that's an amazing feat to have.
Yeah, like for instance,
some people just want to, you know, live their life and not be seen, not be heard, not be done it, you know, just be, and that's that, you know.
Which in all fairness, it's still to an extent, it's still a purpose. I mean, if there is still work, if they still have a job, and let's say like I was saying with one of the other questions there, some people are just content just having that job that doesn't pay that much. They don't really care about meeting people. They just want to go to their job, go home, just kind of live the bare minimum lifestyle and watch TV. I mean, you know, as long as you're still doing something to earn the part of your job that's giving you the money or the income to do that, you still are helping out, even if it's not in the most significant way. You still are contributing, and so there is still, in a sense, if that's what you want your purpose to be, it is still a purpose.
Yes. If your purpose is to just be, then then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If your purpose is to find a family and live an apple pie, white picket fence kind of life, so be it. If you want to find the cure for cancer, the cure for AIDS, so be it. If you want to solve infinity, if that's your purpose and you want to solve infinity, go for it. You know, but I think, you know, I don't think anybody's chosen purpose in life is wrong, unless it's something that harms other people.
Unless you're Hitler. That was wrong, Hitler. I know you're listening. Shame on you.
But that's what I'm saying. Unless it harms someone. Yeah. That's, you know, then that purpose is not.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, you know, whether you're doing it, again, if I know I've heard a lot of religious people say, like, even back when I was 16 or so, my buddy and I were drinking a little bit, and he's really religious because his parents are really, really religious. And so, you know, he was drinking and he was trying, I've been an atheist for a long time now, like, you know, and so he was trying to almost convert me, it sounded like, because he was drinking, and he's like, just think about it. Because, you know, if you what do you say again? He said, just because he's like, okay, so he's like, so if you just think about it, if you believe in God, then you're not going to go to hell, because, you know, that's a big part of going to heaven as far as their religion is concerned, right? That you have to believe in that specific God to go to that specific heaven. And I was like, yeah, but from what you're telling me is that, you know, God is omnipotent and all-knowing and all that. So wouldn't he know I'm just doing it as, like, you know, a little fail-safe to get into heaven? Like, the logic just makes no sense. But that itself is whatever. What I'm trying to say is that it just sometimes seems like they will give their lives a bit of purpose just due to that fear, which comes with things like, say, in this case, a religion. Because even if you're not, like, say, like, let's say that you are religious, but you're not super devout. Like, you don't go to church every Sunday. You don't throw your hands up in the air like hallelujah kind of thing all the time. You still are living your life to an extent based on something that you think is predetermined.
Yeah.
Like, for you, it's predetermined that if you act this way, you're going to go to heaven, and if you don't act this way, you're going to go to hell. So you still are kind of living your life based on that. But again, when I say living your life, I'm not saying, you know, you're going to church every Sunday or doing all these things. It just might be something as simple as just the way you're thinking about one particular aspect of your life.
Yes. Okay, I just see that Bacon Earth has donated $2 to the cause. Thank you so much, Bacon. You know how I feel about that when you donate, but I do appreciate it very, very much. So I see that Clive Wells has a question. He says, life's purpose is defined by evolution and biology. Beyond that, we can find a purpose if we want to, but there is no necessity to do so.
Yeah, and see, that's where I would put atheists. Like, that's where I am, right? I would just say, you know, we got here by the processes that got us here, and that's what I was saying with the whole purpose thing, where I was saying how some people, you know, they have no problem just going and doing their part-time job and going back to their apartment and watching TV, and that's just their thing, right? I mean, But then there are people that, that will find a purpose. And again, whether they believe that there is a God or not, that doesn't necessarily change the fact that they're still going to. And I know I'm kind of going in circles now, but.
Yeah, no. It's all good. It's all good. But look, I mean, defined by evolution and biology. That I can't say yay or nay. I don't know much about that part of it. But in terms of we find a purpose, and I believe that. I do believe that.
Well, I think what he means by life's purpose is defined by evolution and biology. It's like, for instance, like, obviously because we're sentient and we have intelligence, we can think past just survival instincts. I think what he means by the fact that is defined by that is what our purpose, like what every living thing's purpose is to survive and reproduce. And that's what's defined by evolution and biology. That's something that we can't change. That literally is the purpose of life when it comes to not having, an intelligence such as ours.
Yes.
Like if you look at animals, I mean, sure, animals can express feelings and all that. Not like we can, but they still show fear. They still, and all that stuff. So you clearly see that they all, well, not all of them, but most of them, the ones that we see in dogs and stuff. But like, so with all of them, there still is that purpose there's the survival instinct to try and stay alive, right? To try and, scavenge for food as we used to back hundreds, 100,000 years ago or whatever. And
and Punchy?
Yeah.
Oh, did you? I thought you were still carrying on.
Oh no, I was saying that was pretty much it. Like just from what Clive said earlier, I think. If I correct me if I'm wrong, Clive, but I think that's what you were. Oh yeah, there.
I see. Tusk says the commandments are all negative. Thou shalt not. Thou not a single shalt. Thou shalt. Yeah, I believe that. I think. Along with I apologize for breaking this up quickly, but. When Bacon sent the donation, he said the message says, "Because I'm worth it." He sent the donation because I'm worth it. Thank you very much, Bacon. I appreciate it very, very much. I see there's a message from Jess. She says the first part says, "There's no escaping reason, no denying purpose, because we are both as we both know." Without purpose, we would not exist. It is purpose that creates us, purpose that connects us, purpose that pulls us. Then another one, she says, purpose that... This is all from the Matrix.
I was going to say,
from the Matrix.
I've never seen the Matrix, but I only kind of gathered when she wrote Mr. Anderson. I was like, That name sounds like it's from the Matrix.
That's funny. But you know what? Even if this is from a movie, you could go with it.
Yeah, I mean, movies can be helpful and deep sometimes. I mean, sometimes they'll just put words together to make it sound deep, but sometimes they can still give you things to think about.
But I mean, a purpose that guides us, that drives us. And sometimes a purpose to find it. I don't think Morpheus was lying when he said shit like this. I mean, if you don't have a purpose in life, what is the point of actually getting up in the morning?
To go take a whiz. That's what gets me out of bed every morning.
Yeah, your will to get up to go pee is what you do. You get up because you need to go pee. So that's
it's a strong will, because I would much rather lie in bed, but after all, it's like crap.
But Jess, I mean, even if it is from a movie, and yes, you're mocking me for reading it, I get it. It's fine. But it's I think it's true to a point. Without purpose, we wouldn't have economies in life. Without purpose, we wouldn't have friends. We wouldn't have loved ones. We wouldn't. I mean, the purpose to have. The purpose to have people in our lives. we make that effort by making friends, by putting in that effort to make friends, and eventually those friends become, one of those friends become your lover, and so on.
Okay, you know what? Everyone stop quoting the Matrix in the side chat, for the love of God.
Yeah, I see this now. Agent Smith has decided to join.
Roxy, make that a rule for your next stream. That third rule: no quoting the Matrix.
I don't think the next one will include the purpose of life. We're not here because we're free. We're here because we're not free. There's no escaping reason, no denying purpose. For, as we both know, without purpose, we would not exist.
Yeah, or as as Tess said, purpose is ultimately selfish. We do what makes us happy, so we tend to live into our lives. I would say depending, because obviously some people's purpose is to be altruistic and help people out and do all that. But some people it's very, very true, especially in the world of business. I mean, you have to be selfish to and greedy and just to move up in the world of business. That it's basically impossible to have morals and try and be a businessman. That's damn near impossible.
Yes. So yeah, I think to be given to feel that you've been given a purpose from some outside, force, find your own purpose. I think both are valid.
Yeah.
Because we cannot tell someone that their purpose that they've been given is not valid, because we are not in their shoes. We're not in their life. We don't know what their life is like. So we cannot tell them we can't tell them yeah or nay.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're both valid.
Yeah. Now, if someone made their purpose in life specifically to grab me food and bring me beer,
that's a good purpose.
Yeah.
But yes, it's just I think that I think it's both relevant. I think they're both relevant and both equally valid.
Yeah.
I really do. And even though it's from a movie, I think that's also really well put together. And I think there's a lot of things from a lot of movies that you can use in real life as a genuine quote or a genuine way to live.
That's funny. Jessica's literally thinking what I was thinking when I said that. She's like, "That's what they call a wifey in the 1900s." I'm like, "Yeah, but that's not a wife in this day and age. Now they work and vote and stuff, and it's crazy."
Oh goodness gracious! But yeah, I think if anybody else has anything to add to this, I think we're almost round about done. Do you have anything more to add, Punchy?
I think we covered it pretty well. I don't have much to add on this. Like I said, I agree with everything you said about that. So
They call those kids nowadays.
Yeah, but if I have a kid, I'll still have to wait 10 years until they can do that stuff for me.
Let me just quickly check something. So, Tusk, I just want to read. He just says, "I do what makes me happy. If it doesn't make you happy, then you're not part of my plan. I tend to spend a lot of time on my own because part of what makes me happy is not handing. I think he misspelled a word there. Having. Oh, it's having to deal with other people. Yeah, a lot of people are not people persons, so they tend to be on their own, and that's fine. That's all good.
Yeah. Well, and I think it just depends too on. I mean, everyone likes to be alone at some point. It just depends on how often and to what extent. And
yeah. So, Fatty did say greed is not a purpose. For a lot of people, Fatty, it is.
What did he say?
Fatty said that greed is not a purpose. So I think I missed it in the chat here. He just said greed is not a purpose. For a lot of people, it is. Unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, it's not. I won't say greed itself is their purpose. It's greed that makes them, kind of get to their purpose.
Yeah. So, I think we're about done. Yeah, I think we're about done. I think that's it for question 4.
I think so too.
Okay, so Punchy, I know you don't have a channel or anything, but is there anything that you would like to say before?
Thank you all for putting up with me. It was fun to be on a stream again.
Well, Punchy, I'm really glad that you were able to join, and I'm so glad we got to have another chance at this kind of conversation, because we did do this on the Dutch Heretic channel last year sometime or the year before, and
yes, that's right.
It was fun. However, you blasted through the questions very quickly.
Yeah, I'll do that sometimes.
But that's fine. And I quite enjoyed this conversation. It was a lot of fun. And I think that, I think it went really, really well.
I do too.
Okay, so I just want to do some announcements quickly. Because of I had to say earlier in the stream today that I'm needing to move some stuff around in my life. So I've decided to move my show to Sundays, so I can put things on a Saturday that's important to me in my real life. So I've moved my show to Sundays unless stated otherwise. For instance, like if I have anyone from Australia or New Zealand coming on my show, then it will be on a Saturday, but I will state early that the show will be the Saturday. Or if it's a person that can only do the Saturday, I will move it to the Saturday. But my show will be moving to a Sunday now. The same time, 8 p.m. African Standard Time. Central African Time. I beg your pardon.
CAT.
Yes, CAT. It will still be 12 Central Standard Time and 6 p.m. GMT, unless what's that thing that you do with your clocks?
Oh, daylight savings time.
Unless daylight saving times happens, then the times will change, but it will still be the same time every second week on a Sunday this time though. And then my next show will be the 7th of February, which is the Sunday, which is I think next Sunday. Yes, January was quite a busy month, and it was my fault in terms of dates, but that's fine. We worked it out. So January was a very, very busy month. So next week we'll go back to normal. From next week onwards, we'll go back to normal in terms of every second week will be out of this world thinking. So next week I'll be having Craft Tequila on. I'm looking forward to that conversation as well. And it will be 8 p.m. CAT, 12 p.m. CST, and 6 p.m. GMT. I'm getting really good at these time zones now. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I did mention a while ago with Conspiracy Cassette, we are bringing out a video. We're just waiting on a few things to come through before we put out the video, but it should be either tomorrow or Monday, preferably Monday, but we will definitely let our respective social medias know when this comes out, when this video comes out. And it's a 2-part video, so one will be on Baldycast channel, one will be on mine. So look out for the notifications on Discords, on Twitter, on wherever you get your notifications, even on YouTube, I suppose. Both of them will just be put out. They will not be premiered videos. They'll just be put out. So just keep an eye on your on Discords or your YouTube notifications if they're working. If they're not, I'm not too sure how else you'd get the notifications of our videos. But other than that, please remember to subscribe, donate to the cause if you feel that you would like to, and if you also wish to support me on Patreon, you can head on over to there and pick a tier. I think they're quite exciting tiers. It was quite exciting to do those, but it's not a forcible thing. You don't have to do it if you feel you don't need to. But other than that, all the links for everything are in the description as well. So other than that, thank you everyone for joining, and I really hope that you guys have an awesome evening, morning, day, and thank you again, Punchy, for joining. I hope you.
Yes, I know you had me on. I enjoyed it.
Have a good one, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.